The student-teacher relationship in Theravāda is better described as a form of friendship than it is of, say, the master-disciple relationship. So even the Buddha himself, if I'm not mistaken, he did sometimes refer to himself, or others did, as a Kalyāṇa-Mitta, as a beautiful friend or a virtuous friend, just like your other teachers, or just even like your good friends, people who really have your best, your genuine welfare at heart. There is less of an emphasis of sort of raising the master, the teacher, high onto a pedestal than one might see in other traditions. That's certainly the case. And of course, it's part of human nature to project, and sometimes that's unhealthy. And I think a lot of times the trouble people have in cults, and this is true in Theravāda Buddhism as well, where people become so enamored with a teacher because of their charisma that the teacher can do no wrong, and the students lose the discriminative faculty, where they maintain, okay, I really am impressed, but I could be wrong. This person, I don't know, I can't read their mind, I can't get inside their head. So, at the end of the day, we can only ourselves be our own refuge. No one, even the Buddha, cannot be. I mean, the Buddha can be a refuge but that's more as a symbolic, like the knowing, the Buddha as awakening, that can be a refuge. So we don't really go to the historical personage of the Buddha as our refuge. Oh, Buddha, certainly not now as like the Buddha is somewhere, I pray to you, please come and grant my wishes. No. That I think is a distortion if that's happening. The relationship is primarily based on respect, on mutual respect, on one of like how one would see a friend. Like in Asia, the way people relate to authority is quite different from say America. We're sort of taught to question authority and even challenge authority. In Thailand, no. One of the worst things you can do here, probably the worst thing to do. You can be lazy, you can be angry, you can be greedy, but do not in public say anything or do anything that sort of might bring shame on the teacher. That's seen as like the biggest crime, which is really interesting. It's just the way cultural dynamics work. Of course, there is, Theravāda Buddhism is quite hierarchical in the sense that, like even in the monastic community, you sit according to the day you were ordained, not according to your age, not according to your social position, not according to your title, just the time you were ordained. And so, but you like it or not, you might not like the monk sitting next to you who happens to get the plate of cookies before you do, but that's how it goes. And so there is certainly a respect for the elders, and there are even parts of the Vinaya where the younger monks are expected to keep quiet on certain matters and let the senior monks of the community make certain decisions. So it is primarily a democracy, but sometimes it's more like a republic in the sense of you know how to defer to seniority, to your elders, and give them respect as a way for communal harmony. There is like what I have called the vow of obedience. So for your first 5 years, it's not that you live unquestioningly. You don't just do whatever you're told without engaging one's own critical faculties, but one defers, and one doesn't, as long as there's a basic trust in the other person. Okay, so the abbot or my ajahn, my teacher, says on the full moon night we're going to sit up all night, and that's just that's what we do in this monastery. So I'm gonna, unless there's a medical reason, and I don't like it maybe, but I'm gonna do it, partly as a way for practice, but also as a way of deferring out of a sign of respect, and so you trust. But it has to be based on trust. And like the whole act of bowing is say one of, I don't know. I haven't got it under control. I am humble. I acknowledge that I haven't got it all figured out. I need help.